So hello everyone, today is the video where I make my Double Trouble doll. They're one of my favorite characters from the Netflix series Shera, Princess of Power. Double Trouble is a shapeshifter, which means they can change forms however they like, and that is just so cool. And I also love like monster people or like any kind of monsterish designs. That's why I own so many monster girls. So I really like the long ears they have and also the long tail, and I really wanted to recreate that in my art. So the first thing I do is just lay out the basic shades like a darker green, a lighter green, and just shade it all around so it gives a little more depth to the doll. Then I start sketching with a light green pencil to get the eyes right before I go in with the black. There must be some lost footage here because I didn't record the part where I started with the black pencil, because my camera only records 10 minutes at a time, so I must have forgotten to press the record button, but I hope you don't mind. But here I have put on the eyelashes and just go in depth with like the black color. Also, for the expression of Double Trouble, I really wanted them to smirk because they're such a smug character and I wanted to get that smirk in there. So here's one of the concept arts I did. I wasn't sure if I was going to make them look forward or at the side, but I wanted to switch it up a bit because some of my face-ups can be a little bit generic, even though I have different art styles in the eyes and such. I wanted to have a different expression this time.
Look back to when midnights broke their sleep, awaken our memories of when we would make believe. Collide, colors of the masquerade. Watch as they fall away, faceless under faces made. And weeks went by but felt like hours. Spring would lie in summer showers. In my hair were winter flowers. And weeks went by but felt like hours. Seasons multiply in power.
Then I also put some black in the corners of the eye as well as up on the upper lid because I wanted this kind of like smoky eye look, because I think they'd wear like a lot of makeup or at least have like a smoky look on the eyes. At least that's how I thought it would be. So here are just adding the white details with acrylic paint. Just a really small brush and just adding on those tiny shines in the eyes. After this dries, I varnish it with a glossy varnish on the eyes and on the lips because I really like the glossy finish on the eyes and the lips because it looks a little bit more realistic and I just like the glossy look.
Look up, your city's built on marble floors, neon lights in the falling snow. Those nights back in Tokyo. And weeks went by but felt like hours. Spring
This is how they look after I finish the face up. But now we gotta do something about the body. Usually Monster High dolls have a very slim waist and it's a perfect body type for Double Trouble. But they don't have a big chest. So I went away and I drilled the chest down to its core so it's a little bit more flat chested. And then I just sanded down the details on the chest. I also sand all around the legs for the paint to stick better. And then I also file away the panty line that the Monster High dolls have. After this I didn't record this, but I applied some air dry clay to the chest area and made the arms a little more buff and colored it with acrylic paint. Then I really wanted to start with the ears, so I used this McFly Trap doll to start with the ears. So I used some air dry clay and I just started to sculpt the ears.
In the end, time forever favors the young.
After they dried, I sanded them down to make them a little bit more smooth and just good looking. I put some paint on and I tried shading a little bit, even though it's barely visible.
Are we right? We jump first and then decide. It's hard to explain it. Heavy hearts weigh us down, and the water's getting deep. Do we swim or do we sink? 'Cause there's still a long, long way to go. Worrying over our heads, we're holding our breath. Will we ever get to the other side before there's nothing left? Yeah, our bodies are weak, we're tired of hurting. Will we ever get to the other side? Don't know, but I swear I'll die.
But the first ears was a big failure. I tried them on and it just looked like kinda chunky, because it would be another thing if I could cover it with hair, but Double Trouble has shaved on both sides, so the ears would be very visible and it just looked chunky and not good at all, even though I filed down the sides on it. So I went ahead and brought up my really sharp sculpt, and then I just cut off the ears. Then I needed to color the sculpt. I really wanted the hair not to show so much, so that's why I colored the sculpt. And especially if you had a side cut on, you have to want to put some acrylic paint on so it's less visible if it's see-through. I just noticed now that I put this in wrong order, but anyways, I started to sculpt a new pair of ears, so I sculpted them right on Double Trouble, and I just wanted like really long pointy ears because that's what they have. I really wanted them to show. So I put out some Google references as well, so I could sculpt it good. Then I took earrings and then I molded it into the clay. so I could put it in the earring hole that every Monster High doll has, so they stick better than just gluing it onto the ears. And this clay is oven clay, so I couldn't put it on the doll, so I had to put the ears by themselves in the oven, but it went fairly well.
Will we ever get to the other side before there's nothing left? Yeah, our bodies are weak, we're tired and hurting. Will we ever get to the other side? Don't know.
Then for the side cut hair, I didn't have yarn hair that was a little bit more greenish, but I did have hair wefts which was blonde, and then I just colored them with green pastels, because that's usually how you do ombre in hair. So I cut up a lot of small pieces of acrylic yarn, and then I colored it, and then I just started to put them on after I glued one of the sides of their head. You need multiple layers if you want a side cut, because one layer won't do, because you still want to make it look like they actually have hair. So I put on about 3 layers of hair and glue so it wouldn't fall off. Then it was shoe time. So first I found these white shoes, which I found was really good, but they had like this lightning design on the heels and I didn't like that. So I kept looking and looking, but then I thought like, nah, those have bows on them and they're not really that good. So I kept searching and I just liked Draculaura's shoes, but they were too high. So I cut them off because the heels were just perfect. I used them for Spinel as well, but the heels were just perfect, so I just cut them off. And then after I chose the heels, I also forgot to record where I painted them black. But basically, I just took like 3 coats of black acrylic paint and just painted them black. And after that, I sprayed them with Mr. Super Clear to prevent chipping. And then when I was going to dye the fabric, something happened. All my pastels just fell out. Oh god. So because I wanted to make the tail in fabric, because I wanted it to be movable, because smaller tails you can make in clay, but I wanted the tail to be movable like my OC Claire's tail. But I didn't have any green fabric at all, and I have to go a real long way to get fabric, so I just thought I'd make my own. So my sound just decided to give up on me and just lag like it did. You know, when it lagged like that, terrible. I don't know why it did that. Editing sure is hard, but anyways, I had to dye my own fabric. And I don't have any fabric dye, but since I used acrylic paint on my cosplay, I thought that I'd be able to do it. So I tried to dye this piece of fabric, but it just looked very bad. I don't know why it turned out that dotty, but now that I got those color dots on the fabric, I thought that I would go again, and I got a much better result. So even though you use acrylic paint, it doesn't stiff. I will give up on my voiceovers. Why does it keep doing that? I am so sorry. Oh my god. Anyways, as I was saying, it doesn't stiffen the fabric so bad. It just stiffens it a little bit, but it's still stretchy. So I went ahead and dyed it another time, and it just turned out awful because I put some pastels in to make a darker color, a blue pastel, but it just looked moldy. So I just have to re-dye another piece and just keep going until I got a good piece. For the tail, I wanted it to be as long as from booty to legs. So I just sketched out a stencil, and after that I put the stencil on the fabric that I had dyed, and then I just kept going, and then I hand sewed the tail. I had to put it inside out, which can be really difficult, but I managed to do it. Then I take off some of the acrylic paint that I have with acetone, because I accidentally put some black and I don't want that, so I just removed it with an acetone and a Q-tip. Here's the tail all stuffed with the wire inside of it. You can switch it around and you can pose it however you like, which is what I wanted, and I think it turned out pretty good actually. Now I did a hole in the back and I glued it on. And for the longer hair, I just made acrylic yarn wefts. I just brushed them out, flat iron it, and you know the process. But I didn't record this because I actually rerouted Double Trouble's whole head, at least where the long hair is, because I was just going to try to reroute it at the front because I didn't know how to do it so the front looked good if I did reroute, and I never rerouted before. If I have to record another one of these audios again, I have to... Okay, anyways, I'm sorry for the audio, but I did reroute the hair. I never rerouted before, so this was my first reroute. Because the hairline goes quite sharp in front, and I really wanted it to look good, so I thought, why not just like reroute the front? So I thought rerouting, and it went really well. So I just kept on rerouting like the sides, but then I didn't know how to glue, and it was actually kind of fun rerouting. So I just kept going, and then I had the whole head of rerouted hair. Or at least not a complete head, but you know, half of the head at least. And for the styling of the hair, which I'm doing now, they didn't really need much styling. I just wanted to get like this kind of spike they have at the head and a few smaller spikes on the sides. But that's it, so that's what I'm just doing. I'm just taking some hairspray and just doing the spikes I require. And after those sweet spikes are done, I just pop the head right on. It was a little bit difficult because the head inside is full of hair. But I managed to do it, and this is how they look like. But anyways, thanks guys for watching this video. Even though I had a lot of problems, a lot of audio loss and a lot of video loss, this was more difficult than I thought, but I hope you enjoyed the video anyways. I'm not really that top-notch at doing these videos yet because they require a lot of work, a lot of time to record. But here they are, and Double Trouble is up on my Etsy, which is Pommel Studios, so check them out if you're interested in buying them. And I'll probably will be doing Catra as well. I didn't like her in the first seasons, but in the last season she really redeemed herself and she had so much character development, so I will probably do Catra as well in the future. But see you guys next time and enjoy these pictures of Double Trouble. Bye!
Collide, colors of the masquerade. Watch as they fall away. Faceless